I've got my sound technician on standby here if anything goes wrong. First of all, thank you everyone for coming down and sharing this day with me to celebrate the release of, well, one of them is a book that I've re-released before, as I'm sure most of you already know. The other one is released for the first time. And the third one is the Gamebook, which is also released for the first time a month or so ago. First of all, I'd like to particularly thank Neil Rennison over in the UK and Ben Britten, who is here, for making the Infinite Universe Gamebook possible, as well as Adam Kolczynski, and also in the UK, and Barbara Brabec in the US for making this current incarnation of the Dark Horde and Evermore possible. Thanks must also go to Joshua Wright for your awesome artwork, Jake Lowe for your awesome photography, Arati Devasher for her cover designs, she's over in the UK, and of course the contribution of Hanny, who did the amazing music for the Infinite Universe Gamebook. Let's not forget Carlos, who's somewhere around, who has allowed me to have this rubble here and put this gig on, and of course all the bar staff and everyone else. If I could single out just a couple of others for special mention, that would be Margaret Clark, whom I would dearly love to have been here today to launch my books, but she's in Indonesia at the moment. She's the original mentor for my writing when I first started to write for publication back in 1991, and has supported and believed in me ever since, even if I've taken a while to get there. The other person whom I must thank, as I owe the world to her, is my mum, Jill Brewin. I love you, Mum. So, that concludes the formal part of the speech. So for the rest, we're going to do something a bit different. You all heard of Choose Your Own Adventure books, right? Yes. Or you're not, certainly most of you probably have. This is going to be Choose Your Own Speech. I'm going to give you the choices for what I talk about, and you tell me by show of hands what you want to listen to. Alright, so to start off, do you want me to tell you briefly about what each book is about? Or would you rather tell you about what I did when I was 7? 7.
Each book is about.
Good movie.
Who's going for each?
So show of hands.
7.
7's unanimous.
Oh no.
Yeah, there's a bit of a baited one, that one, because some people know about a certain story about when I was 7, but that's not what I'm actually going to talk about. As interesting as that would have been. But, no, what happened when I was 7 is I went into my local bookstore, used to spend a lot of time in bookstores, and I saw Warlock of Firetop Mountain, which was a game book. And this started my transformation into becoming a role-playing game-loving freak, writing and creating games, and that trend has pretty much continued until now, and will probably continue until the day I die. It basically catalysed in me what I wanted to do, how I wanted to write. Evermore, my first book, the end of it is a Choose Your Own Adventure. The Dark Horde has a chapter about Warlock of Firetop Mountain, and most of all, Infinite Universe is a game book that pays homage to the original game books. That was my 7-year-old story. Now I'll tell you briefly about each book. The Dark Horde is a heart-pumping supernatural horror set in 1989 in rural Victoria. Infinite Universe is a mind-bending sci-fi game book beginning in the year 3012 where you play the main character. And Evermore, an introduction, is being released now for the first time overseas, likewise everything else. tells of a philosophical quest through realms of fantasy and reality to find meaning and understanding, loosely based on my life at the time of writing in 1995. Of these, the one I'm releasing last, in fact today, is by far the one I started writing first. I started to write The Dark Horde in 1991, which is actually before some people here were even born, and some of those people are legally able to drink, so that sort of sums up just how bloody long this thing has taken to get out there. And in fact, I really started writing it in 1989, where it was a modern day horror set up at Timbertop and the surrounding area, which is where I was at the time. 1993 is when I started uni. I was living with Simon and Lynn that are here, and I still remember changing Simon's desktop to make it all red and black to put me in the mood of, you know, writing The Dark Horde, and Simon wasn't too impressed by that. But anyway, we moved on, and I continued to write, but in 1994 I actually started writing Evermore instead, and that at the time came much easier. In 2001 I eventually got around to publishing Evermore, and again in 2003. It wasn't until 2009 that I eventually finished The Dark Horde and was happy with the version of it that I could release to the world. 2010 I met Neil and Ben and began working with them on Gamebook Adventures, a role which culminated in the Infinite Universe Gamebook. And so with this release I decided to go for the triple whammy. If nothing else, it means you get 3 of my speeches out of the way at once. And release The Dark Horde and Evermore again at the same time. This time with worldwide distribution in digital, ebook and paperback format. We'll see how we go, eh? But ultimately, I need your support to have much chance of succeeding. Here's the next choice. Do you want to know how you can help? Or would you rather hear about the incredible success my releases have been? So, hands up for how you can help. And hands up for the incredible success there's been. This character, he's up for that one. Yes! Well, we'll go with the incredible success. The opening week, I reckon I made about $50 on the Gamebook. And the opening week of The Dark Horde and Evermore combined, I think I made about $20. Which, all up, is less than I make in my day job in about 2 hours. My earnings since haven't been much different from that. If this rate kept up for a year, I'd have more than the average yearly earnings of a published author in a single year, at about $3,500. Pretty soon I'll be a millionaire, I'll be all over TV, I'll be buying you all houses and yachts because I'll be so loaded and you'll be able to tell people how you knew me before I was famous. But no, the reality is if you want to make money, publishing is just about one of the worst ways to do it. Especially now in this ebook revolution when there's probably more authors out there than there are readers to read them. If you want to make it even harder yourself publish, as I've done with these 2 books, again, and you do all your own promotion. It's cost me about 20 grand to do, so I'm nowhere near even breaking even. Writing itself is the easy part. Publicity is the hardest. Which is where you can help. Ratings and reviews. Seriously, it doesn't cost you anything except a few seconds of your time to give a 5-star rating. A 5-star rating on Amazon or a 5-star rating on the App Store. For the sake of a few seconds, that will make a huge difference. And especially if you write a review, it will make an even bigger difference. And to demonstrate the point, anyone who does a review right now shows me on either the App Store or the Amazon site, you know, a free book of whatever one you want.
What did you tell that other?
Already bought one. Never.
See, that's why I was waiting for that moment. So we'll see how many people actually do
So will you
reviews.
buy us a house if we do a review?
An imaginary one, yes. So, now I want to read some extracts. But then, again, this is where you guys come in. I'll let you choose the extracts you want to hear. First of all, I'll let you choose which book you want to hear from first. We've got the Dark Horde, we've got Infinite Universe, or we've got Evermore. So, hands for the Dark Horde. There's a few. Alright, hands for Infinite Universe. Interesting. Hands for Evermore. Alright, I think the Dark Horde's one. So, gotta find that spot. All very professional on this whole routine, as you can see. Alright, so, which of the following 4 extracts do you want to hear from? The Visitor, Whispers in the Dark, Hiking Down Black Dog Creek, or Aaron Gets an Ending? So, The Visitor. Got a couple. Whispers in the Dark, Hiking Down Black Dog Creek, or Aaron Gets an Ending. That's what I thought would happen. Because I know that some people here actually know what that chapter's about. There's no children here, is there? Why do you want to call it Aaron? It hurt. Bruce wasn't sure what it was, but it hurt like fuck. Bruce opened his eyes and saw that he was on the couch in the lounge at Aaron's place. Closed curtains cast shadows across the room strewn with takeaway food packaging, beer bottles and dirty plates. His head throbbed and his tongue felt like it was wrapped in plastic. Struggling to swallow and dampen his mouth, he noticed drool over his face and pillow. It was a dark colour and sticky. He touched the sides of his face and recoiled with pain. Deep gashes from his own fingernails ran from his eye sockets down his jawline. It had been a big night. Bruce, Aaron and Jason were drinking at Aaron's place until sometime after the sun came up this morning. But he didn't remember this happening. Yesterday seemed like a dream. Oh fuck. Frank and his dad Barney died yesterday. That wasn't a dream. And the idiots they were, they decided to go down to the police scene whilst drunk to see what happened. Vincent the driver didn't even have a full licence. Now he'd lost it for 6 months and had a huge fine to pay as well. They didn't even find out what happened at the farm. The exact events that occurred were indistinct this side of the drinking binge, but he did remember Vincent going off at them for the idea and leaving in a huff. Bruce, Aaron and Jason went back to Aaron's place after that, numbed by the day's events, and kept drinking. And now he'd woken on his mate's couch to find half his face clawed off and blood all over himself. Fuck. Bruce scanned the darkened room and spotted a light switch next to the doorway opposite. Fuck, he needed a glass of water. Beyond the doorway lay a short carpeted hall to the rest of the house. With some effort, he sat up and yawned. Then came a squelching sound from down the hallway. It ended as suddenly as it began. Bruce felt the hair on his neck bristle from the chill of fear. He felt simultaneous needs to piss and vomit. The squelching sound came again, this time longer, ending with a slopping thump. It seemed to be coming from Aaron's room. What the fuck is that? Shall I continue reading?
Yes.
Nature's demands took control of Bruce's senses and he rushed into the hallway seeking the toilet. Trying to ignore the sound coming from down the hallway, he opened the first door to his right. He closed the door behind him and sighed with relief as he disgorged his bladder. He pondered sticking fingers down his throat to get rid of the alcohol still in his stomach, but decided he didn't feel as bad as that. He then went through the sliding side door into the bathroom. Finding a light switch first, he grabbed a glass from the bathroom bench and filled it under the tap. He saw how bloody his hands were and looked up at the mirror. A pale face presented itself, streaked with blood from his scratches, his eyes swimming in blood-tinged sockets. What was he going to say to Aaron? As he turned the tap off, he again heard rhythmic squelching, this time accompanied by a louder slapping. I don't remember Aaron picking up last night. Wow, that's a first. Bruce sculled his glass of water and poured himself another. Now the sound was accompanied by strange deep grunts that did not seem human. Bruce shivered and spilled his water. Then the phone rang in the lounge and Bruce jumped, spilling more water. The phone echoed throughout the house, causing the sounds from Aaron's room to cease. Well, fucked if I'm going to answer that. The phone kept ringing as the noises down the hallway resumed. Oh shit, I better go see what the hell that is. Bruce stepped back into the hallway and noticed a potent stench that didn't seem to be of alcohol or cigarettes. It smelled like something rotten. The squelching and slapping continued, as did the animalistic groans. Shit, maybe I should just leave. The phone stopped ringing as the sound of crashing objects came from the lounge behind me. Mercifully, most of the lounge was out of view. Fuck, now what do I do? The front door's that way. Bruce hesitated in the hallway. The sounds in the lounge stopped, but not the wet sounds from Aaron's room. Just stop thinking about it and go see what it is, you bloody pussy. Do you want me to keep reading?
We want to know what's in that room. What's it?
As Brian crept to Aaron's door, he saw it was slightly ajar. His trembling hand pushed it open on squeaky hinges. The door pushed aside the lurking shadows to reveal a scene of sickening slaughter. Aaron's eviscerated corpse lay strewn over the bed and the surrounding floor. Dripping entrails hung out like decorations. Splashes of blood and the stench of decay saturated the room. Before closed and blood-splattered curtains stooped a hairy beast in the pose of basest horror. In colossal claws it held Aaron's decapitated head, rhythmically thrusting its erect member into a bloody socket. The horrifying sound it made was now dampened by the sound of its demonic, bestial laughter. It paused to meet Bruce's dumbstruck gaze with malice. It laughed again and licked its slavering lips before resuming its necrophilic task. The hallway creaked behind Bruce. He turned to face the huge chest of another of the demons, its bulk towering over him as its arms swiftly enveloped him. The last thing he remembered was the crushing grip around his throat. Probably got time for another extract.
I want to keep my
Your lunch. Do we want another Dark Horde extract, or do we want an extract of Infinite Universe or Evermore?
Infinite Universe.
Alright, we'll do a show of hands again. We'll keep this demonstrated. So, Dark Horde first of all. Show of hands. Oh, everyone's. Yeah, Flatters. Yeah, awesome. So, it looks like no one else is on the train. Infinite Universe. Yeah, that's like the one. Evermore. Alright. Infinite Universe. Something a little bit less sickening is perhaps the last extract. Alright. We have 3 extracts to choose from. We have D'Artagnan describes a brief history of the world. We have Average Joe versus Buff Nick, aka Metal Man, in the Blood Pit. Or the life of Conrad the Poodle in the 21st century. Don't get too excited. Do show of hands. Keep it civil. D'Artagnan describes a brief history of the world. Show of hands. Okay. We've got 1. Woo! Average Joe versus Buff Nick.
Yes. Yep.
Or the amazing life of Conrad the Poodle. Oh, geez, it's the line we're called. I don't know like that fitting both. So we'll start off with Buff Nick. Well, actually Metal Man, but you know, he goes by other names.
It's not that we know though, Brewin.
Of course not. Let's see what I do with that. Look, there's been a terrible mistake. I was on my way to an estate in Chelsea and I just ended up here by some freak accident. Oh, he says, you're one of those. He turns to the audience and sweeps his arms out. A lost child. The sea of laughter that ensues doesn't bode well. Please let me go. I'm really not meant to be here. Smiling, he turns back to you. So what do we call you anyway? I'm really just an average Joe, but listen. Average Joe, he shouts. Prepare to face Metal Man. The crowd erupts into more cheering as you see the door at the opposite end of the arena slowly begin to slide open. A chant begins to build throughout the stadium. Metal Man, Metal Man, Metal Man. The compere leans into your ear. Play dead after the first strike and you should live to escape here. Stepping through the darkness of the far doorway comes an imposing bulk of glistening metal and toned oily flesh. Half human, half robot, like out of some crazy sci-fi movie. It raises its arms to the adoring crowds as the cheering rocks the stands. Then it pivots its head towards you to reveal a face that is human on one side and a mass of whirring mechanical cogs on the other, set with a piercing red light for an eye. Raising a fist and a spinning mechanical claw, it begins to advance with measured roboticism. So look at that extract. Now, the amazing life of Conrad. Gee, that feels good. Currently you're getting your belly rub, one of the highlights of your day. Overwhelmed by the attention, you roll over to try and lick your master's face. Then he says the magic word, what? And you instantly forget all else. Your favourite thing! Your master says your name and some other words as he holds your lead. But you have to get your toy duck first. Now where is it? As you scurry around the house looking for your duck, your master calls your name again, more insistent this time. There it is! Gripping your toy firmly between your teeth, you trot back towards your master, tail waving furiously with excitement. Your pampered life as Conrad the miniature poodle is easy but boring. Your daily highlights are going for a walk that's always over too soon, and dinner time where there's never enough food. Somewhere in another universe, Joe Bloggs is saving humanity in the far future, but not this one. I think I probably tired you out with enough extracts, but there's plenty more stuck up on the walls, probably around the table somewhere as well. As you weren't already aware, for those apps that have just rocked up, fashionably late, $20 gets you a copy of the book and a free drink, either Dark Horde or Evermore, which you probably already got at least 2 copies of, previous versions. There's also posters available for $5. Finally, just to reiterate, really appreciate the turnout and the support and your friendship. Thank you.
That's fine.